the snow is on the ground. All of the cats in the house and outside are in kitty piles everywhere. People are trying to stay warm. But my thoughts are on herbs. I want to grow more herbs inside the house during the winter months. It's difficult for me to do that. I have a couple of south-facing windows, but not really enough to be able to do it efficiently with the other things that I have in those areas that are priority. Also, it's not very convenient to grow a lot of plants when there are cats abound. I'm hoping that they will leave this one alone. Fingers crossed. I wanted to investigate the Aerogarden. I've been interested in hydroponics for a very long time. About 15 or so years ago, I actually took a business trip to Orlando, Florida. And on a little bit of a break from a conference, I jetted over to Disney World, or actually Epcot Center, and took a tour of living on the land. It was a boat tour. It was very interesting. And they talked about hydroponics. I've always been very interested in it, concerned about the environment and sustainability and what we can do as climate changes and how we can be more climate resilient, not necessarily fully self-sustainable or prevent things, but I think we need to be very realistic and be resilient. And one of those ways is to be able to grow plants indoors and also to be able to grow them hydroponically. I'm hoping that from a minute or a smaller set of plants, the fact that we're not working with soil isn't going to be terribly difficult, or it's not going to change the taste or the growing habits of the plants. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to try the Aerogarden. I am not a big proponent of buying a lot of things, and these things actually can be quite expensive. I did not get this free. I bought this myself. Now, I will say that I did not pay retail because that would be illegal. I did find this on eBay. It is not used. It is new, but it was done for a closeout. And we're going to open it. We're going to see what's in it, and we're going to set it up and see if we enjoy it. Stay tuned. So let's see what's in the box. This one in particular is called the Harvest. It's called Aerogarden Harvest, and it does 6 pods of herbs or plants or whatnot. Now, what I've heard based on, or what I've watched on YouTube and other places, that you're not going to be able to fill every single space with plants because it will actually crowd them out and whatnot. So for this 6 pod, we're going to do 4 to start off with and see how we fare, and then we can change that if we need to for the next go round. Also, this comes with herb plants, and we're going to try those out too. And it also comes with fertilizer. Now, everybody who knows me knows that I am not a big fan of petrochemicals and synthetic created pesticides and or herbicides and or even plant food. So we're going to try it with what comes in the box the first time, and then on the next go around we're going to try it with something else. And that something else is going to be like a fish fertilizer. I'm hoping that something like this would create the right amount of nitrogen and potassium and potash that required for doing leafy greens. Not necessarily that I would do this for full-on vegetables because they might need different nutrient contexts, but we're going to try this the next time. So stay tuned. If I like this and I don't put this straight into the recycle bin or give it away, we will try it again with a second set of herbs. So let's get to the unboxing. First of all, you get this nifty quick start guide, and it looks like it's also got recipes. So that'll be very interesting later. All right, very securely sent. Like I said, this was bought on a closeout eBay deal, so normally these run anywhere from $50 to $70. I paid significantly less. I think I might have paid $30-ish for this. So there's ways for you to go online and find things less expensive than buying them full on in the stores. And I would encourage you to do that because your money is better in your wallet than it is in somebody else's. It's very securely packaged. It's not overly packaged, which is great, and these corrugated cardboard items can be reused or they can actually be composted, so that's cool. The unfortunate thing is that the outer box is plasticized, so we will not be able to do that. To recycle it, we'll probably be able to recycle it, but we won't be able to compost it. It also comes in a nifty plastic bag, which I love so much. Not. But it is recyclable, and it is municipally recyclable because it has an HDPE rating of 2, which we'll see there. And most municipal recycling will be able to take a 1 or a 2. It may not be able to take anything else, but it'll be able to take this. Just from getting it out of the box, I'm going to see that it looks like it will fit nicely on the counter behind me. It's slim enough to be in my little studio here, which we also call the apothecary, which we also call the butler's pantry. Every room in our house is multifunction, so that's available to us. And there's a plug back there too. So, and that plug happens to be connected to our small solar array. So we won't be utilizing any extra household electricity to go along with this because the lights are supposed to be on this for multiple hours. Now, the concept of an Aerogarden is to grow things in pods. Let me try to get this out here. Is to grow things in these little pods. There are cartridges that have a seed set in them, and then the material that wicks water into the plant roots. And then what's also in here is something like a raisable light fixture. It's an LED thing that's supposed to simulate daylight. So we're going to get all of the packaging off. And we might read the instructions, because I'm a big famous person for not reading instructions and making a mess of everything. That's what Will says. My husband, he says, you never read instructions, you always make a mess of things, which is true, but who knows better, me or the instructions? I say me. All right, so this is a pump in it, and it also then has a power cord or a power outlet or inlet here, and then it uses a standard plug that will go into the socket that's behind me. And it looks like it's equipped with a filter that's going to take any residue or stuff from the water and filter it through. We'll also take a look at how you're supposed to clean that once you muddy it up with all sorts of debris and residue. All right. The instructions say to make sure that the bowl is securely seated to the base and that the grow deck is properly aligned to the bowl. I think we've got that. Make sure that the pump cord is plugged into a connector at the back of the base, and then plug in the power cord adapter. Thirdly, it's supposed to say add water to the fill and then add plant food directly to the bowl as instructed. So somewhere in here there is the plant food that came with it, and I'm assuming it's in this little package here, which has the gourmet seed pods. These are both, what do we have here? Genovese basil, dill, mint, thyme, curly parsley, and Thai basil. These are non-GMO seeds. It is from Miracle Grow, which is not my ultimate favorite, but what I have read and what I have heard is that you can buy the pods themselves, these plasticized pods, and you can reuse them over and over again and have material for them, and then you can utilize your own seeds. I'm a big proponent in heirloom seeds and organic seeds, but we're doing this as a test run. If I like it, we can experiment a little bit more later on. So, all right, so we're going to fill our basin with water, and then we're going to arrange or select which herbs that we're going to utilize. We'll add the fertilizer to it, and we'll get this cranked up and see how it works. I'm excited. I've never had one of these before. It is a little bit small as to what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit larger, but I think as a starter, this is probably a very good way to have just a few different types of fresh herbs that you can snip off and use in your cooking, any time of the year, but obviously in the dark of winter, we like fresh plants. So there is a fill line in here, and it actually is very easy to see. It says fill to here. And then we'll see this is a full gallon of water. we're going to see if and how much this actually takes. All right, so it took about 3/4 of a gallon, 60, 70, looks like 70 ounces. So that's how much goes into it at once. I don't know how long that lasts, but we'll find out. And then the instructions for the seed pod fertilizer. It says if we're going to do 2 to 3 pods, we will need 1 full capsule at startup and then 1 full capsule every 2 weeks. Evidently, on the front of this, and I'm not going to lift it now that I have a little water in it, but assuming that on the front of it has an indicator as to when it's going to need fertilizer. If you use a model that has 6 or 7, which if we were to fill this up, that would be one thing, but it would take 2 capfuls at startup and then 2 capfuls every 2 weeks. It doesn't seem like this little tiny thing will last very long, but I'm assuming that that's probably why they sell it in the small parts, so that you continue to buy it. And that as you need more things, you will then buy more things from them. So we'll experiment because this was inexpensive. I have fish fertilizer. I can use my own seeds, or I can buy these again if I want to try them. So we'll see how the experiment goes in the future. So for now, I'm going to start this with 1 capsule or 1 capful of fertilizer. All right, so let's select the herbs that we're going to grow in here. So the availability is Thai basil, which I assume is kind of a spicy basil, and then dill, which is always yummy for fish and chicken and whatnot. Standard thyme, which is always great for fish, chicken, even beef. I made some boeuf bourguignon last night, and I used a lot of thyme in that, although it was dried from the garden earlier. Genovese basil, that is the standard basil that you would see for pesto, and that's exciting to be able to make pesto in January, other than the stuff that was frozen from the garden in the fall. Mint, which grows everywhere, but you know what? If somebody's in the mood for a mint julep, we could have our own mint with that. And then finally, what do we have here? Curly parsley. Now, I'm not a giant fan of the curly parsley, but in a pinch, it'll work. If I find some seeds for Italian flat leaf, I might try it in a capsule later on. All right, so let's secure our deck here. And put 4 of the pods in. So I'm definitely going to select the thyme. I'm going to pop that in. Put that in. Evidently there is a method to its madness. Just popping it in, maybe. And then you put a cap on top of it while it's germinating. Let's go with dill. Mint. And Genovese basil. And it's very convenient because it only came with those 4. The other 2, which are going to be the curly parsley and the Thai basil, we're going to put away for now to see how things grow. Now Now once we get this plugged in, we're also going to have to set the deck of the light. And it says to put it as close to the plants as possible when you first start it. And then as you can see, it does raise as the plants get bigger. So you can always keep it in close proximity. And this looks like it has about a 16 to 18 inch depth or height of where the grow lights can be, but for now we'll start it right off at the beginning and we'll see how this thing sprouts. Set up. I basically plugged it in, and a few things have happened. One, the light has come on, and given the instructions, it looks like this will be on for 16 to 18 hours. So it doesn't look like it's going to pull a lot of electricity, so it's reasonably efficient. But again, like if you have some alternative ability to power this, either by battery or by solar or whatnot, it's probably the best way to do it. Secondly, I can also see that water is now circulating through the pump, and it is now moistening the planting material. So this looks like it might be like a sphagnum moss or some sort of peat moss container. Hopefully it's a sustainable peat moss. I know a lot of places are not sustainable, but I'm hoping that this one in particular is. If it is not, then we will make sure that as we move forward with more discs and whatnot, that we will utilize something more sustainable. The one thing that has not come with this product is a covering for the holes that do not have plants in them. I guess that's assuming that you're going to fill all of them, but since you're not supposed to, we're going to have to figure out something to fill them up, or at least cover them so that we don't get bugs or anything else, or the water doesn't evaporate more quickly. It looks like we're well on our way to grow some fresh herbs. We'll give you an update as the time goes by. And if we do a second round or a third round or whatever we end up doing, we'll make sure that everybody's updated. Thanks.